December 7, 1941. Pearl Harbor drags America into a global war. But just 4 days later, an almost unbelievable twist occurred. With his armies already bleeding in Russia and battling Britain, why did Adolf Hitler declare war on the United States, effectively provoking a sleeping industrial titan and sealing his own doom? The period between 1939 and 1941 saw a creeping conflict develop between the US and Germany, despite America's official neutrality. Initially, President Roosevelt's administration, while declaring neutrality, actively supported Allied powers like Britain through policies such as cash and carry and the Destroyer for Bases deal, signaling a clear tilt away from isolationism. This evolving stance culminated in the crucial Lend-Lease Act of March 1941, which transformed the U.S. into the arsenal of democracy, providing vast material aid to nations battling the Axis and fundamentally undermining Germany's war machine. Concurrently, tensions escalated dramatically in the Atlantic. German U-boats targeted Allied shipping, prompting U.S. naval escorts leading to undeclared naval warfare and incidents like the sinking of the USS Reuben James. This progressive American engagement and German provocation laid critical groundwork for Hitler's later war declaration. Let's delve into the Tripartite Pact, signed in September 1940, which formally brought Germany, Italy, and Japan into a mutual defense agreement. This Axis formation was primarily a strategic gambit, designed to deter the United States from entering the global conflict by threatening a two-front war, should America intervene against any of them. Hitler, harboring significant strategic hopes, genuinely believed Japan's commitment would decisively draw U.S. attention and military resources to the Pacific. His rationale was that a U.S. embroiled in Asia would be less able to project substantial power into the European theater, effectively keeping America out of his primary battlegrounds. Yet this alliance was profoundly flawed. Crucially, despite the grand declarations, there was a palpable lack of concrete strategic coordination between Germany and Japan regarding specific war plans, especially concerning potential joint actions against the United States. They were bound by treaty but operated largely independently, a critical weakness in Hitler's overall strategy. On December 7, 1941, Japan's surprise assault on the U.S. Pacific Fleet at Pearl Harbor instantly unified American public opinion, leading to an immediate declaration of war on Japan. Far from being dismayed by this turn of events, Hitler was reportedly ecstatic. He viewed the attack as a confirmation of his belief in the decline of Western democracies and a significant strategic advantage for the Axis. Hitler anticipated Japan would tie up substantial American resources in the Pacific, preventing a full-scale intervention in Europe. Crucially, he severely misread the American response, underestimating both its unwavering resolve and unparalleled industrial capacity. He believed the U.S. would be too paralyzed by the Pacific conflict to project significant power into Europe, a profound miscalculation that would soon prove catastrophic for the Third Reich. Hitler's declaration stemmed significantly from his warped ideology, deeply rooted in anti-Semitism. He genuinely believed Jewish conspiracies governed Western democracies like the U.S., making them inherently weak and decadent. For him, America was already effectively at war. The Lend-Lease Act, providing massive aid to allied nations, and the U.S. naval escorts leading to clashes with U-boats in the Atlantic, served as undeniable proof of its belligerent stance. He rationalized these actions as orchestrated by the Jewish interests he so vehemently opposed. Furthermore, Hitler scorned America's diverse, multi-ethnic society, seeing it as a critical weakness, a sign of racial impurity and internal disunity. He starkly contrasted this perceived frailty with the imagined racial purity and strength of his Aryan Germany, a dangerous delusion that blinded him to the U.S.'s true power and resolve. Just 4 days after Pearl Harbor, on December 11, 1941, Adolf Hitler addressed the Reichstag to formally declare war on the United States. He presented this as a response to America's undeclared war in the Atlantic, citing incidents like U-boat encounters, and the Lend-Lease Act. Furthermore, he emphasized Germany's commitment to the Tripartite Pact, seeing the declaration as a necessary act of solidarity with Japan. Hitler likely believed a formal conflict was unavoidable, and by acting preemptively, he could retain some initiative. However, this decision, made deep in the brutal Russian winter amidst a Soviet counteroffensive, was a catastrophic strategic error. Fueled by his profound overconfidence and a severe underestimation of America's industrial might and resolve, Hitler effectively ensured that the full, overwhelming power of the United States would be brought to bear against Germany, irreversibly sealing the ultimate fate of the Axis powers and contributing directly to their defeat. Hitler's war declaration on the U.S., fueled by ideology and miscalculation, irrevocably doomed the Third Reich. In your opinion, had he not declared war, how might the course and duration of World War II have fundamentally changed? Share your thoughts in the comments.